Today, we're going to explore 9 key points that are deeply rooted in the minds of all girls. These 9 points are areas of vulnerability, and I'll help you clearly understand each one. Not only will I explain them, but I'll also show you how to use them effectively, so make sure you listen closely. The power of contrasting personalities. You need to develop 2 contrasting personalities rather than just sticking to one. For instance, if your natural personality is kind, you should also have a darker, more mischievous side. Or if you're usually calm, strong, and composed, imagine this. One day, while walking with a girl, you hear loud music playing. Out of the blue, you start dancing. This sudden, unexpected behavior will leave her puzzled. She'll think, isn't he supposed to be calm and composed? Then why is he dancing? Who really is this guy? These questions will keep swirling in her mind, making her think about you non-stop. At the same time, this will solidify her belief in your strength. How does that work? If you've been following my series on how to attract women, you already know that women are drawn to strong men. However, you can't act like the strong man 24/7. If you do, it might feel forced and unnatural to her, and she won't truly believe in your strength. That's why it's essential to balance your dominant traits with an opposite side. If you're kind, add a hint of edginess. Doing this will make her think about you more often, while also making you seem more mysterious. Speaking of mystery, I'll soon release a video dedicated to increasing the mystery in your personality. For now, focus on introducing a contrasting side to who you are. You'll be amazed at the results. Talk about someone different from her. This is a crucial strategy. Talk to her about someone who is completely different from her. For example, if the girl you're interested in has dark hair, casually bring up a blonde girl in conversation. Say something like, "I once knew a blonde girl at work who really impressed me," and then continue talking naturally. Or you could mention a famous blonde actress you admire, adding, "I'm a fan of her acting," and continue the chat casually. The key here is to sound natural. Don't make it seem like you're dropping a deliberate hint or sending a message. Now let me explain why this tactic works so well. Girls tend to overthink everything. The moment they wake up, their minds start racing. For example, if she sees a crying child on the street, she might spend the entire day imagining scenarios, trying to figure out why the child was upset. Even though she only saw the child for a few seconds, she could feel sad for them all day. This tendency to overthink is one of a girl's biggest vulnerabilities. So, when you casually mention a girl who looks the complete opposite of her, she'll start overthinking it. When she's alone later, she'll wonder, why did he mention that blonde girl? Does he prefer blondes? Am I not attractive enough? Should I dye my hair blonde? With just one sentence, you'll make her think about you all day. And when she's in this state of overthinking and trying to understand you, it's the fastest way to her heart. In short, mention a girl who's different from her. It's a subtle but highly effective approach. Don't be afraid to criticize her. This point is more about you as a man than it is about her. As men, we often hesitate to criticize girls because we're afraid of hurting their feelings or coming off as rude. For instance, if a girl smokes near you, you might avoid telling her to stop or blow the smoke away because you don't want to seem impolite. But here's the truth. This hesitation is just a misconception that society has conditioned us to believe. If you confidently tell her, "Blow the smoke away," even if it sounds a bit blunt, she'll respect the confidence and strength you're showing. That said, you shouldn't be critical all the time. Your criticism needs to be thoughtful and constructive. For example, if she's wearing something unflattering, say, "That outfit doesn't suit you." Or if she takes a photo that doesn't turn out well, tell her honestly, "This picture didn't come out great." These small, honest criticisms leave a strong impression and build a deeper connection in the relationship. When you criticize her, your compliments gain greater value. I want you to engrave this idea in your mind forever. Criticism enhances the significance of your compliments. If you're always showering her with praise, she won't put much weight on it. But if you occasionally offer constructive criticism, the compliments you do give will stand out, becoming more meaningful and desirable to her. Think about it in your own life. If someone constantly tells you how smart you are, over time, those words lose their impact. However, if a person who rarely compliments you suddenly acknowledges your intelligence, you'll value that praise far more. This behavior is natural for humans. We tend to value things that are scarce. And this isn't just limited to women, it's a universal human characteristic. I'll be diving deeper into this concept in an upcoming video as part of the Social Skills series. But for now, remember this. Don't shy away from constructive criticism. It's the very thing that will make your compliments feel much more significant later on. That was point 3. Now let's move on to point 4. Talk to her about something she struggles with. If there's an area where she lacks skill or confidence, you can use this to subtly build rapport. Let me explain. For instance, if a girl tells you she doesn't know how to cook, store that information for later. Then, during a casual conversation, mention something like, "I really admire girls who can cook." The key here is subtlety. Don't make it sound like you're targeting her directly. Let the topic come up naturally as part of your conversation. When you say it, keep it brief. Don't linger on the point or make it overly obvious. Avoid saying something like, "I love girls who can cook," while staring straight at her, as this might make her defensive. Instead, bring it up casually and move on. Later, when she reflects on the conversation, that comment will linger in her mind. And remember this. The more a girl thinks about you, the stronger her feelings for you will grow. Now, on to the next point. Share your weakness with her. This step is crucial, so pay close attention. Many people worry that revealing their weaknesses will make a girl think less of them. But here's the truth. If you share your flaws with her before she discovers them on her own, you're taking control of the narrative in a very powerful way. Let's say you can't dance, and one day you're at a club with her. If she sees you struggling on the dance floor without prior context, she might perceive this as a flaw. But if beforehand you casually mention that dancing isn't your strong suit, you achieve 2 things. First, you'll come across as confident. By admitting your weakness openly, you're showing her that you don't fear her judgment. This is a hallmark of true self-confidence. Second, you'll evoke empathy from her. Empathy is a deeply ingrained part of a woman's nature and is often considered one of her greatest emotional tendencies. This is why some people use the pity strategy to connect with women, because when a woman feels empathy for a man, she's more likely to feel attached to him. It becomes challenging for her to refuse, and she starts feeling a strong pull of attraction toward him. However, let me make it clear. I don't suggest using the pity approach to win over a girl. Even if it works once, it's unlikely to succeed again, and you risk losing her entirely. Instead, I recommend practicing empathy while still holding on to your strength and masculinity. This is why I advise you, if you have a vulnerability, share it with her. By the way, since we're on the topic of empathy, I want to share a technique I've been meaning to discuss for a while, but hadn't gotten around to yet. If you ever fall ill or need something and are already in a relationship with a girl, ask her to take care of you. For example, if you're sick and need medicine, ask her to go to the pharmacy and get it for you. Women naturally have a nurturing instinct, so if the opportunity arises, let her look after you. When you're with her, let yourself lose a little control, like a small child who wants a hug or to gently touch her. Show spontaneity. For instance, if she does something adorable, hug her and drop that composed, stoic demeanor briefly. Show this side of yourself, but it's crucial to discuss the limits of this approach. This technique isn't meant for constant use. It depends on the girl and the situation. Usually on a first date, it's better to avoid this entirely. Similarly, if it's your first conversation with her, don't attempt it. Wait until at least the second meeting and then ease into it gradually. Don't just go in for a random hug. The key is assessing the situation. If it feels right, show her that you lose control when she does something cute or wears something you find attractive. This will increase her affection for you because it shows spontaneity and confidence in expressing your admiration. At the same time, it's an excellent way to steer clear of being friend-zoned. Speaking of the friend zone, I'm thinking about making a video on that topic as part of the How to Attract Women series. If you're interested or currently dealing with that issue, let me know in the comments. Now here's an important point from today's video. Encourage her to put effort into attracting you. Let's break this down. For instance, if you tell her you enjoy philosophy, later on, ask her if she likes philosophy too. Her response will tell you a lot. If she says yes, it likely means she's trying to impress you. This is something ingrained in most women, the desire to be liked. Her effort to gain your approval will only increase her attraction to you. If she says no, she may still go home and wonder, I told him no and he likes philosophy. What's he going to think of me now? This kind of reflection stems from a natural tendency in women. They want to be liked. After saying no, she might keep thinking about you and worrying if she's lost your interest. This mental process makes her want you more, so in both scenarios, you come out ahead. The trick is to create situations where she feels the need to earn your approval. However, if she says no and genuinely doesn't seem to care about impressing you, don't chase after her. Avoid trying to persuade her by saying things like, "Oh, philosophy isn't that great," or adjusting the conversation to follow her preferences. If she's indifferent, move on or change the subject without hesitation. In summary, let her know what you like, then circle back to it, and give her an opportunity to prove herself worthy of your admiration. Set boundaries with her. Women by nature are drawn to men who know how to lead and establish dominance. Many of you might already understand this, but what you may not know is how to enforce boundaries effectively. For example, if you tell her, "I don't like girls who smoke," and she lights up a cigarette right in front of you, stand up and walk away immediately. Don't stay seated next to her. Over time, she'll stop smoking in your presence. Or if you're planning a trip together, let her know, "I don't pay for girls. We'll split the costs," and stick to it. Boundaries like this assert your standards. Now, there's a common question. Who should pay the bill? Should you cover everything or split the cost? The answer depends on your comfort level. If you've just started dating and she isn't your girlfriend yet, do what works for you. If you can afford to pay, go ahead. If not, split the bill. What's important is that you stick to your choice without worrying about her opinion or societal expectations. Finally, make her understand she's not your only option. Sometimes, a girl will ask if you're seeing anyone else. Most guys feel insecure and respond with, "No, I'm not seeing anyone else." But that's not the answer you should give. Instead, try saying something like, "Yeah, I've got a few candidates shortlisted. Let's see who gets the job." This response doesn't just make her jealous. It motivates her to work harder to keep you. Women are naturally attracted to men who have options. I've touched on this dynamic many times in the How to Attract Women series, so if you haven't watched it yet, go back and check it out. And with that, we've reached the end of this video. If you're facing any challenges or have questions, drop them in the comments so I can address them in a future video. This was The Dark Needle, and I'll see you next time.